Born from the Arab Spring, Syria's peaceful protests turned into a brutal civil war. As the regime crushed the movement, defectors rose up, igniting a decade of conflict. The rise of ISIS and foreign intervention complicated the front lines. As indiscriminate bombings crushed civilian areas, ordinary volunteers rose to the call, forming the Syria Civil Defence, famously known as the White Helmets. The White Helmets were once ordinary citizens, bakers, carpenters and students who rushed into the heart of the bombing. They moved under a single conviction: to save one life is to save all of humanity. In Aleppo, they dug through the ruins of a collapsed building with their bare hands for 16 hours. Finally, they pulled a 10-day-old infant from the dust, one of the thousands of lives they fought to save. Despite the double tap strikes, bombing the same spot twice to target the rescuers, they refused to flee. Staying behind to carry the wounded, they remained the only lifeline for a people in despair. In Khan Shaykhun, Idlib, the day began like any other. The morning of April 4th was quiet, peaceful, and seemingly ordinary. Suddenly, a chemical strike hit Khan Shaykhun. The weapon was Sarin, a deadly nerve gas. Civilians began to collapse, gasping for air without a single visible wound. By the end, nearly 100 lives were lost, including dozens of children, with hundreds more left fighting for their lives. Lacking proper protective gear, the White Helmets rushed into the poison. They stripped and washed victims to decontaminate them, fighting for every breath. The footage from their helmet cameras became the ultimate proof, exposing the regime's crimes to the entire world. Throughout the war, the White Helmets saved over 110,000 lives. Until the regime finally fell, they stood alone as the only lifeline in the rebel-held lands, the true guardians of humanity. Abu Mahmoud, one of the first to join the White Helmets, was once a simple baker. When he saw his neighbors dying under the bombs, he traded his apron for a helmet. But while he was out saving others, he received a devastating call. His own home had been struck. He dug through the ruins only to find his own son, cold and lifeless. The hands that saved so many strangers now had to carry his own child's body. But then, hearing another cry for help, he rushed back into the dust to save a life that wasn't his own. After that, the Assad regime in Syria collapsed. Though the war has ended, their spirit remains alive. The courage and solidarity shown by ordinary bakers, carpenters, and students. The belief that saving one life is to save all of humanity. The White Helmets now stand at the center of Syria's reconstruction and new hope, wishing for peace and reconstruction.
The spring smelled of gunpowder, freedom's voice buried under the shells. We swapped our aprons for white helmets, hands that bake bread, now digging through stones. 16 their ice, children falling with no wounds to see. Sarin the ghost cloaked the town in death. We washed away the poison with trembling hands. Though my fingers numbed and my breath grew short, I couldn't leave a father or daughter behind. Through the lens of the camera on my brow, we showed the truth the world feared to know. Abu Mahmoud knelt in his shattered home, holding the cold body of his own son. One moment of grief, then he heard a cry. He picked up his shovel and rushed back again. That is the reason we wear the helmet. We do not carry weapons to kill. We carry stretchers to save. To save one life is to save the world. On the piles of ash we prove our soul. Our name in the dust, the white Now the tyranny falls and the hammers ring under a blue sky where the poison is gone. We walk for the 100,000 we saved. The light in the dark, the white